Okay, this is the Board of Health meeting in the land use room, June 8th, 6 p.m. Present at the meeting are Sue Braska, and on Zoom is, you can give your name, Terry.
Terry Putnam.
And we have
Christine Southworth. Oh, sorry.
No worry.
no public comment, is it? No, okay.
Sorry to interrupt. Could Mackenzie have gone downstairs?
Let me go
Could
look.
she be, yeah, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
Okay, review of the minutes. So we can't vote on the May 4th minutes until we have Mackenzie because we don't have Jean.
Mm.
But Terry and I can vote on the May 18th minutes. I sent those to you, Terry. Were you able to get
Yes.
them?
Yep, I did.
So are there any corrections or additions or anything you want to make?
No, I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Okay, and I second that. So all in favor?
Aye.
So Terry Putnam, aye. Sue Braska, aye. So the vote's unanimous. I'd love to tell, get those. To also, your minutes for the excellence grant.
Yep.
Is that after the 18th?
I don't recall.
All right.
Sorry for the confusion.
Hi. Let's sit over here. Have you met Megan?
Well, we just did.
We just did.
Briefly.
Okay.
I have not met Megan or Christine or Mackenzie. So nice to meet all of you. Sorry,
Me
I
too.
didn't want to give everybody what I have going on right now. So
Thank
it's
you.
better for me to be here.
Okay. Megan is the secretary. She's going to give us 10 hours, and then all the other departments can fill up the rest of her hours.
Nope, just two. Just planning. I'm the planning board secretary. I just picked up Board of Health.
And then float.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
So we're happy to have her. She's already jumped in. Mackenzie, since you're here, we need to vote on the May 4th minutes. Because you sent them, so you can just sign them. I have about 20 copies. All I do is sign one copy. And then we just voted on these since Terry can't vote, since she's, right.
Do you need a motion for those?
We already made the
Oh,
motion.
you already made the motion. Perfect.
Did we make the motion? No.
I
Make a
wasn't
motion that we accept the May 4th minutes, Jean's last meeting.
I will second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Mackenzie Kane, yes.
Sue Braska, yes. Vote is in favor. Okay. Chris, want to give you?
Yes.
So I should just explain to Megan and to Terry that the first meeting of the month, you give the report for the previous month for your nursing stuff. Okay, go ahead.
So you want my report? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes, the report,
Okay.
please.
Okay, so I have Russell, Blandford, and Montgomery. And Russell and Maven, there was one case of flu. So basically, I do 1 day a week up there. And I'm out of the Council on Aging, and I offer blood pressures or if somebody needs to talk to me. We also had a consumer affairs scam fraud presentation, and we had 9 attendees for that. And then I have health information flyers at different places in town, the town hall, post office, the transfer station, and the library. And Blandford, in Maven, I have 1 COVID case and 1 Lyme case. And I started a creative mindfulness workshop at the country store and had 9 participants this month. I attend the Council on Aging lunch and breakfast and take blood pressures there. And I also hold nurse hours on Mondays when the exercise class is happening. And I also have health education things at different places in town. Montgomery and Maven, there were no cases. I hold nurse hours over at the Council on Aging, which has not been active since before COVID. I did get permission from the board, the select board, to use the Council on Aging funds for seniors. There's currently $11,000 in there, so I'm going to fund a foot care clinic for residents. And then basically I go to the grill on Thursday afternoon and do announcements and offer different things like on safe drug disposal and all that. And I'm also working with the administrative assistant to buy new AED supplies because their pads and batteries are expired. I attended a 2-day Mass public health nursing conference and also met with the Hilltown Community Outreach Center. They offer free chronic disease education sessions to people. And it's all online. We had a health fair and had about 50 participants in Southwick. I asked all the attendees how they liked the affair, and they felt that they got a lot more information than they thought they would have gotten. They were, and then the vendors were also interviewed, and they were all satisfied with the turnout and felt very supported. We had 21 COVID shots that were administered, and that's about that. And then I attended the racial equity webinar, and that's about it for me.
All right.
You did a really good job, Tricia, that helped there.
No, thank you.
You know,
It was
Thank
fun.
you.
Yeah.
That's a nice summary. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, for Tricia's, I don't know if we're going to read it all. We'll probably just attach it to our minutes.
Yeah, and Terry, did you get I just sent an email like 5 minutes before the meeting with the, I scanned the packet that we all have here just so you'd have a copy as well. Did you get that?
I don't have it yet.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have any questions or comments you want to give Christine? Terry, you all set with that, and Mackenzie?
Yeah, Christine, I'm sorry. How many hours do you have to cover? That's a lot of, you did a lot in your hours.
I work 19 hours a week.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I
All
guess we
right.
can move on then, thank you.
Yeah.
So next, Tom. Conflict of interest law.
Okay, let me give you a little background on this. Mr. Dede, Joe Dede, has a project in Southwick at the Southwick Open Pantry, Southwick.
Chris and Terry, can you hear Tom?
Yeah, I don't know him. I'm sorry. Do you mind introducing?
Find out.
You gotta look at this,
camera.
Tom.
She can't see
You gotta
it.
look at the owl.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, what?
Tom
Hi,
Fitzgerald
Terry. Tom Fitzgerald.
has been our
I've been
Okay,
around
thank you, Tom.
health director for how many years, Tom?
A few,
He's been with the board,
couple of months.
on and off since the
Since
80s.
81.
Yeah, and then he became our full part-time health director for how many years? 20? 22 years.
Well, 23.
So you can tell I've been clueless. I've been clueless for that amount of time. So sorry about that.
These two of us.
So Tom stepped down and we briefly had 2 health directors in between Tom and Tom H. Okay, so,
So,
Go ahead.
it's nice meeting you. So Mr. Didi approached me about doing a septic design for a property that he just purchased, a church, for, gonna use it for public space, and he was gonna have some, other, rooms in there, possibly working in conjunction with the police department, for interview rooms to help out. At least that's the plan. He's gonna keep the food bank there or located into the other building. There's 3 buildings. There's a church and where the open pantry is now, the food bank is now, and there's another building behind. So they haven't quite decided what they want to do, but it failed the Title V when they bought it. So he asked me if I could help him out with it because obviously they're on a limited budget. So I said, well, I could if I could. I would be happy to if I'm able to. So I reached out to the Michael McDonald from the State Ethics Board, as I had reached out to him in 2019. I have a letter here from 2019 when I first retired. And he gave me kind of an outline of what was needed to be done, and what I could do, what I couldn't do. So, but this was a little bit unique because I wasn't involved for a while. Mr. Hibbett's been here for five months,
Yeah.
the beginning of your, well, it's like
February.
First week, February.
February, yeah.
So, to make a long story short, I got off the phone with him, and he said as long as there was no Title V in your office when I was there about this property, and I was gonna ask you about that, then I would be eligible, I would actually work.
Yeah, Joe didn't submit the application to him while he was active in Tom's role now, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So,
the Title V, even if it came to the office, even if I didn't
Right.
act on it, it was very specific.
okay.
And I understand that you don't have a copy of it, at least according to Mr. Didi.
The recent Title V?
Yes.
I don't think I have the recent Title V and I don't think there's any records for a septic system on that property at all.
Yes, that's what I thought as well. So basically, he said, I'm free to do it. There's no conflict. As long as I wasn't there when the Title V came in, even if I didn't act on it, but it says it came into the office. If it had come into the office before January of that, then I would have to wait a year. I could still do it, but I have to wait a year. But in this case, since it came with Tom's tenure, I'm free to do it. And I asked him to put that in writing, and he said he would.
Oh, good.
Okay, so what about Tom being our backup health director when?
So that's a separate issue. So since I started, Tom Fitzgerald has not functioned in any official role for the town. So I separately have reached out to both the Mass Association of Health Boards, because they have a legal staff. So they're working on an answer for me. And I also reached out again to the State Ethics Board. Because we are in a weird predicament with the main thing we need the backup inspector for if I'm on vacation or whatever would be Title V stuff. No restaurant is ever gonna beg for an inspection when I'm on vacation. Most housing stuff can wait, but it is, so the main thing that people would really be begging for is Title V stuff, as well as the emergency housing or emergency restaurant thing, which wouldn't present the conflict. So even if we've got someone besides Tom, if he wants to be able to do work in Southwick, most of the people that I've been able to think of that would be a good, eligible, and qualified candidate are people who are already doing perks and plans in Southwick. So I reached out just to get clarification of, in this one specific instance, I think we're good. But if we were, if I go on vacation later in the summer and we were to call Tom and say, hey, we need this, we want to know that he can do that and it's not gonna present any issues. So still waiting for clarification on that. Because the other people we've used in the past, I think Dennis LaCourse, he does perks in Southwick. Randy White, Barry Searle, same thing. They all do perks in Southwick. So anyone I can think of that we would use kind of has the same issue. So
And Joe Didi came to our meeting and he said like the electrical inspector does work in Southwick.
right,
They
right.
just have to get somebody else to. And
Right.
The plumbing inspector does work in Southwick.
Right.
And they just have to have somebody else
Yeah, I think
inspect
there's
their
a,
work.
there may be a little different, for some reason, they carved out a niche for
Let me take it.
Title V and septic. There's actually another document, I saw a letter that came from the commission
Yeah.
about boards of health doing
Yeah.
septic work.
And
So it's
the-
a little unique.
The wording on the ethics commission is very, it says if you worked on a particular matter and like
Southwick.
very legal and doesn't make sense to, and it's not clearly spelled out to like, if you did a perk test, you can do this or whatever. So hopefully we'll get answers, but I'm glad you got a concrete answer regarding this specific.
Yeah, this is gonna benefit the community, according to the GP.
Right.
It's not gonna be a private enterprise, he's gonna open this up to the town.
Okay.
to use. I understand. I actually thought he may be here today. He's in New York State. But anyway, and again, I'll be getting he said next week, the attorney said next week he'll send something and, I'll forward it to you, so everybody can be comfortable with it, hopefully.
All right.
Sounds good.
Anything else? No? Questions? Keep looking at well.
Keep looking
Christina,
over there.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Christine, I think unless you want to stay, I think you're good to go.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you all. Good to see you.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah,
See you, Tanner.
take care.
Bye.
Bye. So, Megan, we're gonna give you the May 4th minutes that we approved. And the May 4th minutes are gonna include the nurses' hard copy reports from April.
Okay.
Okay, and then you just send them whoever you send them to or whatever. The minutes today, once they get approved, you'll attach the May reports for the nurses.
Okay,
So we're like a month,
off.
yeah,
Okay, no
okay.
problem.
So I'm gonna give you those. Also, another thing I wanted to bring up before we have
Mhm.
Megan, Title V inspections, Tom Fitzgerald used to have Jessica and Jean go through the real estate listings every week to see that any transfers had a Title V inspection done.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if that's something you can show Megan
Yeah.
how to do. And Megan can look in the files and see if they did have a inspection.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if they've not, then there must be a form letter that went out, because I got one. There must have been a form letter that went out.
Yeah, I think so. I think I've seen that in the share, so.
And then our other issue was, planning board, you get the subdivisions and it's lot 1 through lot 50. Well, when all is said and done, we need to know what house number those are, because we can't go by the lot numbers. So that's another thing to just keep in mind.
Okay.
I think Megan has a good set of skills to
I know.
know a thing or two about that.
I'm used to chasing that down.
Yeah,
And we've been, I'll get to it in my report, but I've been keeping good track of this current subdivision of which lot, and we just got a bunch of them in today, so hopefully that will help when we start getting plans in.
and then the other thing is, I don't know, Megan's done it already, Tom, to let Jim know what our meeting schedule is for the summer.
Oh, yep,
First week of July, first week of August, first week of September.
Yep.
And then, back to October we'll go to.
Yep.
So is that something What is Jim's last name? I forget.
Middleton.
It's not really something we tell him. We actually put it in a calendar in
Yeah,
the select board office, and then he checks it as well as
All right.
Yeah.
the building maintenance department checks it if they have to set up a room.
All right,
Yeah,
'cause I was
but-
going by what, Michelle Hill told me.
oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so I think we got that covered. Yeah, I just had Lisa on the calendar down there, Lisa, for July, August, and September, crossed off the second week, because we already had those ones booked, so. So we're good for that.
All right, so we have to be out of here, Mackenzie, by 8. We'll be happy to
Yeah.
have that.
No, by
How
7.
about by 7?
seven,
We
yeah.
don't have to be here for
Yeah,
2
no,
hours.
by 7,
I
so,
keep thinking we started at 7.
so yeah, so,
Perfect.
do you have anything else, Sue?
I'm gonna give this to Megan. This is the May 4th minutes with the nurses' reports.
Okay.
So, this is a signed copy, and then the nurses' reports, there's a few copies of theirs. So that's for May 4th with
Okay.
their April reports. So that's that. And then here are the May 18th minutes, which we signed, which don't have anything attached. They
Okay.
can just go as they are.
Okay.
And then the minutes for this meeting will need the excellent grant
Yeah.
meeting minutes that you had sent out, you already did on.
Yep, yep.
Okay,
Okay, so I will start my report and I will keep it quick. Terry, I don't think we explained to you, we had a meeting room snafu. Someone else has this room upstairs at 7. So we were gonna move down to the basement, and when we got there, someone else was already using it. So we said, we'll just use this room and keep it quick. So, for perk tests, I have been doing more perks on, the Mort Vining Road subdivision, Oak Ridge Estates. I don't know how many I've done since the last meeting, but of the 28 lots, I think there are 14 that have been done. And then, yeah, I think 14 that have been done, and we've had the record submitted for, I think, all but 2 of those. So, so those are progressing along nicely. I've been doing about 2 days a week out there, and it unfortunately eats up most of my afternoon, which has been frustrating, but it'll be nice to get them all done. 58 Hastings Road, that was a perk test on Hastings Road, and they ended up doing a soil sample because it was really high
is
groundwater.
that repair or?
A repair, yep,
Repair, okay.
yep.
Can make a note of that.
Yep.
Okay. Repair and new.
Tannery Road, that is a lot that, I can't remember the name of the side street, but, I did a perk out there in February, and they only got 1 passing perk, so we did another perk test,
So one
and
of the side streets or across from the side street?
one of the side streets, and his lot goes back, and then it goes down to Tannery, pretty close to the Westfield line. So, but he wants the part that has frontage on Tannery, he wants to cut that off and have it, sell it to someone else they can build there. So, so they did get the second passing perk there. COCs were issued for 2, I want to say it was 46 and 48 Mort Vining.
The lots.
For some of those lots that are the A&R lots that are right on the frontage there. And then 2 lots on number 9 Tall Pines and number 6 Tall Pines.
So 9 and 6, is that the number of the house?
That's
or
a
the number of the lot?
street number.
Street number,
Yeah.
okay.
Did a final inspection for 5A Sawgrass, which is also in that Southwood Country Club area there. And 3 Pondview was a repair. I think it was like a 15 or 20-year-old system. Did the final inspection for that. And plans were approved on, actually, I forgot to update this line, and those are all the plans that I think were on the last agenda, and I think I already reported those to you guys. And I don't think I've,
Yes, you did.
yep, and I haven't approved any new ones since,
Okay,
so
good to cross that out.
that we can cross out. Housing, 440 College Highway, I did the inspection, everything was done,
Good.
so that is closed. 16 Congamon Road, that was the house, the Housing Authority house with a lot of trash in the back.
That's done.
I went up there and it was a little sloppy, but definitely not constituting a serious violation or anything, and all the trash was gone. And the 32 and 48 Lakeview Street, that one still, I'm chasing town council to get some
Has it gotten
answers
back?
with that.
They haven't answered you?
Not yet, so I'm gonna talk to Carl tomorrow and see if there's any other way I can get through to town council, because
No towns about McKinsey.
that one is, I wonder if I still have it in
It's
the
a-
folder.
It's a house, and behind the house, they built a shack and an outhouse, which happens to be on town property.
An outhouse,
Uh-huh.
like
The little shack has,
somebody lives in it?
yes,
Oh, that's
and the
nice.
shack has, what do they have, a hose coming from the house? And
To
maybe,
put water into the shack? Yeah.
and so we're waiting on town council whether the town evicts them or charges them trespassing.
Somebody actively lives in it,
Yeah.
do we know?
Yeah,
And the person in this house, was it on 32 or whatever, wants that person in the shack out.
So they're like a squatter?
pretty much.
Oh.
I think they at one point were a couple, and
Oh, what a
and
nightmare.
yeah,
And they had built that shack, probably not knowing it was on town property, and to use it as
Yeah.
a shed or whatever. So I shouldn't say shack, it was a shed, right?
yeah, it's a shed, and then there's
With
a
no
out,
electricity or running water.
yeah,
Yeah, and then they built the outhouse nearby.
That's lovely.
yeah. So you
Just-
can see, so this is the lot that the town owns, that it was a tax taking like 10, 15 years
Oh,
ago,
okay, yep.
and you can even see the shed
Oh,
right
wow.
there. But it's weird property boundaries, because
Right.
the line is like
there's no
literally
way they
on
can
their
establish
house,
that.
so it would, if he was living in the shed and it was all on her property, it'd be a clean cut,
Right.
condemn the shed and he can't live there and whatever, but since it's on the town, it's weird, so hopefully, town council will get back to me. If not, then I think I'll just condemn it, because we can't sit on it forever, so,
Okay.
Yeah,
How you would handle any other property.
yeah, so.
interesting, okay.
Food service, haven't done any inspections this week. Falling a little behind on food service inspections, to be honest, because all the septic stuff and all the grant stuff has been pretty time consuming. So,
How about motocross, did you get to inspect those?
yeah, we've been getting applications in, so that's the one food inspections I have been able to keep up with, is the mobile food, because they come on a weekend and, we need to, if it's a temporary or whatever, we need to inspect it to give them the license, so, but the routine restaurants and stuff, I'm hoping once the grant stuff slows down, and now that we have Megan is a huge help, because she's been helping me, this past week, we've been working on getting her trained on doing all the permits, and I think she is gonna pick it up, well, I think she already picked it up pretty quickly, would you agree?
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Okay,
And all
so,
the permits, can we have them all standardized?
yes,
with
that's what,
Expiration
yeah.
date and issue dates in the same spot?
yeah,
on all
we're gonna work
permits?
on that, as the
Yeah.
applications and everything as well, so, so I'm hoping in this, after the end of the fiscal year, when this grant stuff settles down, I can get back into doing all the routine food service inspections. Other inspections, Southview condos, they have a pool, and they had a couple minor issues. The big thing, they couldn't find the records for their Virginia Graham Baker pool cover. It looked new. They said they replaced it when they put in a new liner, like 2 or 3 years ago. So I did let them open, but I said, find the records.
What's the Virginia? group?
That is the anti-entrapment cover
Okay.
for the main drain in the
Okay,
pool.
that's right.
So that's actually a federal law. It's not even a state law. So, so that one, hopefully they'll find I was just drafting an email to them this afternoon,
So they
so,
need the paperwork even though they have it?
yeah, cause it's like, it's kind of like smoke detectors, they expire after a certain
Did
amount of time.
Virginia Graham die?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, she was a senator's, daughter, granddaughter or something, and like, I think it was the late 2000s that it passed,
She got
Oh,
food
God,
poisoning.
that's
Yeah,
been
she
not
got-
that far away.
eviscerated. She got stuck on the drain, and so,
That's hideous.
yep, so, so that's why you need the anti-entrapment drain covers.
I guess that's pretty important.
So,
Yikes.
yeah, so
Do they do those for just pools at people's homes?
I think,
residents'
I
homes?
think it's just different requirements for a residential pool, but I think they still have to be, the covers have to be a certain type of cover. But I don't, for residential pools, I don't think there's any, once the pool's installed, I don't think there's any mechanism for, making sure they update it. So there could be old residential pools that don't have that sort of stuff, but.
So Tom, they have the pool cover, we just don't have the records that it meets
That's
the
what I
requirement.
believe, yeah, because I know for a fact that when that law came out in, public health, it was a big deal. And pools were closed, or, certain pools, like if they didn't have the right drainage system, they had to do major construction or just replace the pool entirely, to be able to meet the requirements. And there was they did have some lead time, but there was no exceptions to that. So, so now all these pools have been around since then, so they've all had that cover installed, but depending on the manufacturer's, manual or whatever, they might only be good for 8 years or 10 years. So they need to keep the documentation that says we installed this cover on June 8th, 2023, and we have to replace it by, 2030 or whatever.
In our file cabinet, we have all the restaurants and
Mhm.
all the food, and is there a division for pools?
There is a division for pools, but
Do you have a
they
copy?
don't submit those records to us. They're just supposed to keep them with their
Okay.
pool stuff.
Can you give us a copy?
Yeah, so they had a new pool operator. So that person wasn't aware, so they should have it, and all the records indicate that it would have been done. So, so I'll chase that though, and if they can't find anything, it's not too expensive to replace those, so they'll have to just do that.
Did you hear for the next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
We tried to move so we wouldn't overlap, and we were gonna go down to conference room 3, and someone else was down there when we were supposed to start, so,
It's like Russian roulette.
yeah,
Yeah, lately.
So we're
Yeah.
just trying to go real
but
fast.
we'll be done. You start at 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be done before then. Hamden County Health Coalition, nothing major going on there. That is, just so you're aware, Terry, that's the group that we're a part of with all the health departments in Hampden County. Do a lot of like emergency stuff, emergency dispensing site and emergency preparedness sort of stuff. And I think they've been around since like after 9/11 anthrax sort of thing is when that all started up. And the main thing we get from them is they pay for my cell phone, my work phone. So there's been some changes there, so they're trying to sort that out. They used to be able to do a lot more, and now it seems like most of the money from the state that goes to the group just pays for PVPC, which is the host agency. And really all there's money left for after that is the cell phones for all of the towns. So we've been working on, I just go to the meetings on behalf of the town. I'm not on the committee or anything, but they've been working on kind of seeing if there's any way we can reorganize that group to see if there's any way we can get a little more out of it. And PHE grant meeting, we had a meeting with so The PHE grant is, I think we talked about it last time, but that's the grant that pays for the nurses, as well as we're gonna be getting some inspection software and possibly a shared inspector with Granville, Tolland, Montgomery, Blandford, and Russell. So the big thing we're working on right now is trying to get a intermunicipal agreement, which would kind of be the governance for the group and set up an advisory board, but we haven't had a lot of participation from the other towns, which has made it a little difficult. So it's kind of put Southwick in the position of, we need to do something with the grant, so we just make the decisions because no one else is around. But we should have this agreement in place to kind of clearly define what's expected of each town, and that whole thing. So we had a meeting to talk about that, and we had me, Sue, and Jennifer from the Board of Health in Blandford. And I technically cover Montgomery as well. So we had 3 of the 6 towns. So that makes it kind of difficult to get anything done. We are still trudging along with the IMA, and the lawyer from Mass Association of Health Boards is going to do up the draft document for that, and I'll get that out to the group, and we'll try to have another meeting this month. We were going to try to meet on the 13th, but no one responded to my email, so I'll offer another date.
No one responded, or they just responded to the?
I don't think anyone, I might have got one response, but I don't think anyone even responded.
Can you send them out urgent?
Yeah, I'll do that next time. So that's, there are some good things with the grant, but it's not without its difficulties. But we have been able to get some inspection supplies and some furniture from the office and anything the nurses need. So it's worth the headache for now, but hopefully we can get through some of this IMA and get to a point where things can run a little more smoothly. And I think that's all I have. I put for the summer, since we're kind of having an adjusted schedule, I put the rest of the meetings on here: July 6th, August 3rd, September 7th. And I think that's all I got.
Seven.
The first Thursday of those
Yeah.
months.
Okay. I guess that's nothing unanticipated in the past 48 hours?
I don't think so.
No.
Nope.
Any questions or comments, Mackenzie? Anything to say?
Good.
Jerry, any comments or questions?
No, good report.
Shorter meeting than the last one we were at. Okay, so. Make a motion to adjourn at
6:38.
6:38. All in favor?
Yes.
Sue Grosky, yes. Jerry?
Carrie might be frozen. Carrie, you're frozen. You can hear us. You might not be able to hear us.
So, okay, so that's this one, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Comments?